all for show. The sun dropped behind the distant hills, casting the black and green plains on each side of the wagons into soft purples and reds. Even the odd gnarled tree poked out of the ground, an uncommon sight in Nord, its bark as black as scorched earth, with fingers that reached upward at the twilight sky. The plains gave way to high cliffs that rose up like city walls in the distance, just begging to be climbed. Hassan swallowed the lump in his throat as he realized this was the last time he would ever see them. Iqaluk would still climb them, of course, but even he preferred to stay amongst the hilltops. It seemed that the flatter lands just enraged his fool of a father. Kira was more calm at least, but still a bloody awful climber. He was sure she'd rather run for miles around the cliff face than attempt to climb it. He would have beaten her either way. The trailer of the wagon had sweated pitch all over him, hands, tan boots and all, making the bumpy ride along the old road even less comfortable. The dense layer of his minxin offered plenty of protection against the cold, but not from ill-fitting slats, nor rusted rivets digging into his rear. Besides, with all the other conscripts there was barely room for him to sit, let alone be comfortable, so he endured it quietly. Kaelan sat crumbled next to him, head lolling back and forth, while a line of drool snaked its way across his cheek. Kaelan was his brother, not by blood, but by experience. No one had come close to being there for him as Kaelan had, whether it was seeing off the Derrick twins at the Norton settlements, when they were barely babes, or being offered a hand at the right time on a challenging climb. They never spoke of the link, but it was there, and they both knew it. Kaelan snored, and Hassan rolled his eyes, looking straight up into the grimy face of a young girl across from him. She eyed him up and down openly through a flash of blonde hair hanging over her right eye. The rest of her hair was dyed black, which placed her from one of the Uyghur clans, perhaps even the same clan Hassan's mother had come from. He stared back, wondering if he would have to fight her. Maybe he might even have to kill her before they arrived in the capital city. He could do it. Damned earth, he would do it if he had to. Iqaluk would disapprove of even just thinking such a thing, but then he disapproved of everything. The old man knew nothing about who Hassan really was. Nobody did. He was vicious, powerful, and perfectly capable of killing, if he had to. The wagon crunched to a stop, and both lines of conscripts slid towards the front in a heap. "Out!" cried the rider, swinging down from the Nara, pulling the wagon. The creature hissed and threw its sprawling antlers towards him. "Yah!" He fumbled at his side, and the animal quieted as a long leather whip unraveled to the road. "Yeah, you better flinch if you know what's good for you." He turned back to the conscripts and bared a gummy set of yellow teeth. "You lot, out!" Each wagon in the caravan slowly emptied as their riders swore and shouted and threatened and whipped. They were all adorned in shimmering, leathery skins from an animal Hassan didn't know, and while most of them had scars upon their faces, only their rider had lines. They were more crude than his own, coloring everything from nose to neck in black, patchy ink. The rider caught his eye and pulled aside his iridescent coat to reveal a curved sword as long as his leg. "Get out!" "It's all for show, Hazi," yawned Kaelan. "I know," lied Hassan. "By the way, thanks for leaving me alone with this lot." Kaelan smirked. "Friend, I can talk small with the best of them. You, on the other hand, could do with a practice." A whip cracked above their heads, and they both jumped up, jostling with the rest out of the wagon into an untidy line.